Here we are. Hello, dear friends. 21 days to spiritual awakening. And little by little, we are with you in this journey of conquering new grounds inside of us. Now, when we're studying these books, we're not supposed to feel guilty if we have not got to higher levels yet. What is important is to never give up. Never give up on understanding your feelings, understanding your thoughts, and pushing the envelope of life to change for the better. Yes, the good on the earth comes with a lot of work, inevitably, especially when it depends on us who are here and have a long list of misdeeds, right? But we're not saying this for you to feel guilty. We're just saying this for you to feel safe, for you to feel kind, for you to feel loving to yourself. I'm gonna let you talk to Kara Correa for a minute about the book Pills of Trust. She's here with us. The book that when you buy it at ssvirginia.org, you're helping the Fraternity Without Borders. And I'll be right back with you, okay?
Hello, dear friends. It is such a joy to be here with you once again. Our hearts are united and our souls are together as one. And as always, we are here to ingest pills of trust that will forever nourish our souls as immortal spirits. This is a beautiful, enlightening book, and as the title itself says, thank you for all the hearts. I feel the love, and the love feels good. And as the title itself says, each page offers a pill of trust that we can take every day. Trust in whom or in what? Trust in our own hearts, trust in our own souls, and most especially in our beautiful divine nature. Yes, dear friends, we are divine in nature. In the words of the beautiful spirit doctor Diaz da Cruz, we are a divine dream of the Creator, destined for loving aims and purposes. Did you know, dear friend, that you are a divine loving dream of the Creator? Yes, you are. And the power to realize that dream is within you. Yes, and so this is why we are here together, nourishing our souls to potentialize and optimize the dream that lies awakened within us. And with every step, every thought, and every word, we shall together, right, be able to realize this beautiful dream. And speaking of dreams, if we purchase this book, dear friends, we are able to make beautiful dreams become a reality. This book supports the efforts of the Fraternity Without Frontiers. So yes, if you purchase this book, you will be not only nourishing your soul, but also bringing joy and realizing the dream of shelter, nourishment for the body, and loving care for the children in Madagascar, in Africa, and you will be truly a messenger of God's love. So allow me to share a few words here with you. Thank you for the hearts. We feel the love. Speaking of trust, the message for us right now is act with trust. Everyone in life is graced with just and necessary opportunities for awakening their divine nature within them. See, dear friends, it is confirmed. We are all definitely divine dreams of the Creator, destined for loving aims and purposes. one more opportunity to awaken our divine purpose in life. Now let us go back to Brother Jacob and continuing our awakening process. Thank you, Brother Jacob and Sister Vanessa.
Thank you, Carol. You got it, friend. So this is what it is. When you buy the book, Pills of Trust, you're helping the orphans, especially the orphans, in the program of Fraternity Without Borders, okay? And it's about awakening. Let's remember that it is on us to bring relief. It is on us to constantly think that we may have loved ones living there too. Who knows? Like Alcyone in the book Renunciation, she was ascended to higher spheres, to other galaxies, planets. And then she came back because of loved ones who are living here. So it matters to us, each and every life. We cannot live our lives forgetting about those who are suffering. It's impossible, right? All right, so let us say hi to the community. Carol is here with us. And now we can go back to the list and say hi so you feel, and I know people who listen to us after hours on demand, they say hi. And you know, if I don't reply, I've seen you, and forgive me because, you know, besides the duties of daily life, motherhood is quite demanding in a country where we don't have family around and we don't have babysitters either. So, but we see you, we pay attention to you, and we are always with you in mind. So that's why we're committed to you. We're committed to serving you, to bringing to you the nourishment that has been serving us too. We're sharing, because share is care. Right, Carol?
Right.
All right. So, hello, sis. How are you? Hello, Valeria. Valeria, how are you? And Sunshine. How are you, Sunshine? Felipe, how are you? And Danny. How are you, Danny? Hopefully Eric is good too. Katia, how are you, Katia? Leonor Pacheco, adorable. How are you? Tatiana, how are you? Oh, it was good seeing you in Orlando recently. Hello, Rosalind Rosa. How are you? Leia Severo. It's always good to have you here, Leia. Karina. Today I saw a sentence by Thomas Jefferson that he couldn't live without books. And I thought of you. I said, you know, that's Karina too. So you have another friend, Thomas Jefferson, on your side, right? Michelle, how are you, Michelle? Rihanna, what a joy to receive your message. And here we have Angelita. Now we have to stop and say, happy birthday to you, Angelita. Happy birthday to you, right?
Right.
Happy birthday, dear Angelita. Happy birthday to you. Feel our love, because I know you are loved and you know it. Right, friends? Who doesn't love Angelita? Raise your hands. I saw no hands. So you're good. You're good, Angelita. I saw no hands being raised. So that's good. Keep up the good, loving work of your heart, my friend. Luciana Antoine. Luciana, was it your birthday the other day? Or 20s? Anyhow, Happy birthday to you too. Okay, so we have in our hearts Elder, the cheese bread man. He's a cheese bread man. Keep it up. Keep feeding the souls, my friend. And here we have Jailton. How are you? And Binhão, good to have you here. Teresa Castro, welcome. Sol Souza, how are you, Sol? It's good to have you here always. Ivana, and the friends from the Seara do Bem. It's always good to have you here too. Andrea Torres, thank you, Andrea, for your loving presence as well. Thank you. See how people love Angelita, right? Yes, I know, Katia. You know, Divaldo is Divaldo. Divaldo is Divaldo, and so be it. Good. We hope that we can multiply the message he brought through. And Elder, you couldn't hide it. Yes, you're here with us. You ready, friends? You know, today, this message is so important that many things happen not to have us here now. I tell you, today's message is really powerful. Yes. Hello, Rudy. Much love to Carol. He's saying, yes. Jussara, how are you? Now, this message today is striking. Revisiting Spiritist centers. Brother Jacob, remember, he was invited by Carbar Schuto, an amazing man, Spiritist, and also Guilherme Ribeiro, to travel to the city of Rio de Janeiro. Of course, they are discarnated, they are volitating, and it's so funny how he describes it. But before we go there, listen to this. The return to Rio moved me. I was unaware that most of the newly freed from the physical plane cannot move with desirable efficiency. So first and foremost, if you can move right now in the physical body, rejoice. Because when we discarnate, maybe we're not going to be able to be there that easily. Yes, many spirits remain as if anesthetized and unconscious. Others linger in the inability of any appreciation of themselves, immobilized by shock or terror. It's what we call in science freezing behavior. They freeze. They're so afraid. Everything is so different, so unknown. They're like, so you see, because we're not prepared. We're too attached to material life. When we see the real life, we're scared. With me, however, the situation was different. The thirst for knowledge renewed my strength. Thirst for knowledge. You like to know more? Don't be shy. Let it shine. I know people who tell me, Vanessa, I'm afraid of knowing more because it may sound as if I am arrogant because I want to know more. No. You are co-creator, born to know more. There are two wings of the spirit, the intellectual and the moral. They complement each other. And we need to balance each other. And Kardec explains that in the Spirit's book. Moral and intellectual progress. Intellectual progress is part of our progress. Don't be shy of knowing more. Especially now that you have social media. Some people tell me, Vanessa, I don't like Facebook. I'm so sorry. because Facebook can be quite a source of knowledge. No, it's not about seeing other people's lives. It's about being connected to several different thinkers around the world and several different scientific resources, research of all ends, great organizations of the good in the world, besides the Spiritist ones, that are doing great good in the world. And thus we progress faster. We will acquire knowledge at a much faster speed. If we compare 2017, between 2017 and 2027, the next 10 years, we will potentially see an exponential progress, intellectual progress on the earth compared to the last 10 years. Because now we have social media, which really potentiates the exchange. It's law of society that really pushes the law of progress. So use to your benefit. Trim your news feed. And I know nowadays many people use Twitter, but you can also select what you're seeing anywhere. So we really need to practice. It's beautiful because through these mechanisms, we're learning to be selective in our minds. We're learning to be disciplined in our minds. Okay? So if you know people who don't like Facebook, tell them, if you want to help the world, you better join it. You better join it, because not only you can progress faster, but you can help others progress faster too. Because you're talking about connecting to almost 1.5 billion people in the world. 1.5 billion. So it's important that you partake in this. Right, Nina? How are you? Okay? So recalling the last moments in material existence, Brother Jacob felt ill. He came back with the feelings that he was feeling before this carnation. I understood then that the mind possesses incalculable power over our emotional field. And just as it might materialize ideas of disease, it should also create ideas of health and maintain them. Based on this conviction, I tried to decipher the problem for my own benefit and began to think about balance, hope, joy, and service. Okay? Thought in life. Right, Carol?
Right.
Right there. Thank you, Carol. Thought and Life. Brother Jacob published this book in 1948. This book, Thought and Life, remember? 1958. 10 years later, we have access to the whole information. 10 years later, Emmanuel describes to us exactly what Brother Jacob is describing to us. So the mind has power over our emotional field. If I think of disease, it's going to materialize. If I think of health, it's going to materialize in the long run. Right? Thank you, Saul, for your kindness. You know, the teachings are not mine. You know it. I'm just sharing. Carrie's sharing. All of us are sharing. Right, Adilson? Everybody here is sharing. Don't be shy of using wisely the tools you have at hand, the social media, WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, email, anything, so you can share good news. Help people seek the good, feel the good, visualize the good, and mold the good with all the resources we have at hand. So here he is learning about his emotions and how important our focus is for it. So, okay, so what happens next? Then he said that actually he was not volatilizing horizontally, like a plane. He was actually as if he was descending it. So interesting. Many interesting details here. Okay? He talks about, Guilherme Ribeiro explains to him that there are spiritual routes that favors the driving of lesser entities to the sensations of physical life. Wow, Maria. Why? Run away. Yeah, no, don't run away. Just stay there. Right? Okay. Now look at this. Push, mine. Hold on. I want to show you stuff. Hold on. I will show you pictures in a minute. Landing on the ground, I felt a strange difference. The contact with the earth was similar to that of a magnet. And did you know that gravity plays a role in our perispirit? And you know why? Because the perispirit is semi-matter. It's semi-matter. And because it's semi-matter, it affects us as the scarnates. And he says here, volitation then is only possible on earth, the crust of the earth, to those who are more evolved, trained in the movement of certain fluidic forces. So even as the scarnates, only those who are more evolved will benefit from. You see how much we still need to know? We think it's easy for the discarnate spirits to go here and there and everywhere. No. On the earth, there's so much going on. And there's gravity as well. And the perispirit is pulled to the ground. The denser the perispirit, the more he feels the attraction to the earth. Like us. That's why we're standing and not floating around. Right? Hello, Juliano. He's here. We miss you and Leticia. Looking forward to you guys coming back. Now, Kyra Schulte commented on the surprises of his early days. And when I consider the possibility of materializing in the middle of the street to bear witness to the survival of the soul, Guilherme Ribeiro laughed discreetly and assured that if such a commitment were possible, the disturbance would reach many people, since the very flash of revelation would only benefit gradually to those who were working on the information there in their temple. So if you or friends are thinking, I'm not saying you, many people think, oh, spirit manifestations, if they happen widespreadly, people are gonna believe and change their lives. So, God, you wanna take a course now?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that not happening? God knows better. And it's not good. It would scare more people than benefit them. And the understanding, realization, maturity does not happen from the outside in. Spirit manifestations at the wrong time, at the wrong place, they are, in an analogy, Mentor Joseph told me, like opening a flower before it's time. You spoil it. And it can be very damaging. So if your loved ones don't believe in spirits, or they don't believe in anything, leave them alone. Let's practice being just. When Kardec asked the spirits, what is being just? Respecting people's rights. People have the right to be who they are. And it's not on us to, as he says here, he says, spiritual progress needs to be gradual, without violence and without alarm. Spiritual progress will always be gradual, without violence and without alarm. Right? Paula is here too. Thank you, Juliano. Hooray for Facebook Live. Hooray to Mark Zuckerberg. Next president of the United States. Oh, no, I'm joking. No, Vanessa, no politics here. No, I'm not. Just joking, yeah. Okay. What happens next? You wanna see it? I'll show it to you. Okay? Look at the pictures so we can work together. Okay? We will work together. Hold on a minute, please. Okay, hold on a minute. Okay. Look at the picture. Okay. Here are the pictures by Projeto Imagem in Brazil. Américo Sucena and the designers portraying the descriptions by Brother Jacob. There they are, Guilherme Ribeiro and Kyber Schutel helping Brother Jacob coming to the streets of Rio de Janeiro. Now, what happens next? Well, okay. He says, what amazed me, he says, the most was the spiritual expression of each person who was crossing the streets. I observed that many were followed by benign, good spirits or by luminous signs, which allowed me to perceive the degree of elevation they had already attained. But the number of entities enjoying the low sensations of physical life, following their victims closely, was frankly incalculable. Are you ready? Don't be afraid. Oh my gosh, what is this? Halloween? No, it's the Spiritist teachings. Look at this. Guilherme Ribeiro announced that a brief examination would suffice to identify the nature of each one's addiction. Little by little, although the short time, I verified for myself through the gestures with which they were revealed, spirits still attached to the sexual passions, the torments of hatred and revenge. Brother Andrade, whom he had often assisted in the last years of when he was incarnated, he talked about the difficult cases of obsession in alcoholics. They were followed by true vampires in a disgusting way, some completely intoxicated with vapors, others showing distressing thirst, pale and cadaverous. The most disturbing picture, however, consisted of an opioid addict and imbalanced entities that joined him. So this is the case here of a person who is addicted to opioids. He looked like a man subjugated by huge octopus tentacles. Seeing him imprisoned in dark cords, I asked my friend Andrade how to interpret the visual we had under our eyes. And then he told me that the hypnotics, especially the most violent ones or aggressive ones, affect the delicate tissues of the perispirit, passing by poisons to lovers of idleness. The black threads are fluid connections between the invisible lampreys and the plexuses of the incarnate victim. So, my suggestion to you is this, my friends. Show this picture, if you can, to people who may possibly be connected to you. Show to them how much they will be at the mercy of these friends, quote unquote. It's about spirit vampirism. Very hard. I have more accurately understood that the addict of any kind is compelled to look for emotive material for himself, and those who obsess him invariably falling. Then he asked, what will happen to that man if he discarnates now? Now, the answer is striking. If death finds him in such a position, he will wander about at the will of the executioners who exploit him, voracious, until one day he decides to change himself intimately for his own sake. If you're a parent of people who use drugs, we need help. You need help. Look at these pictures and don't feel defeated when you talk to your child. And it's hard, because often they are not the ones speaking through their mouth. The ones who imprison them are speaking through them, are taking action through them. Are they victims? No. They are co-participants, but they are surrendered. So I'm not going to go through the topic of drug addiction here, because it's deep. But to remind ourselves that it doesn't happen just because the person wants to kill him or herself gradually. There's a lot of guilt behind it. There is a lot of spiritual immaturity behind it. There's a lot about spiritual revenge. So what do? Go to the Spiritist Center for your family member and learn about unconditional love. The other day, a father was telling me, but I hate my daughter when she surrenders to addiction. I tell her that I don't want to see it. And we said, you are making it worse. You are loving her conditioned to her wellness. That's not love. When you love like God. We love. Doesn't matter. We're not saying we're going to approve, we're going to agree, we're going to support. But we're going to tell them eye to eye, like Professor Eurípides Barçanufo. Eye to eye, we're going to say, my dear son, my dear daughter, I love you. Spirit, and say their name. Remember, you reincarnated to work with God and for God, to God. Forgive me if I have not given you the assurance of love that you needed. I'm not going to approve of it, but I want you to know that I love you in spite of it all, and that I'll be praying for you. I'll be here for you. Let us begin anew, but let them choose the pathway. But never close your doors to them. Never. Work with your own feelings, because that's the real achievement of parenthood, to love our children unconditionally, because they are not our children. Right? Jailton is saying, I take prescribed sleeping pill almost every day. Since it is opioid-based, am I exposed to these horrible influences? Jailton. We can talk, in private, because I cannot share with you whether or not this will be the condition. It's very hard to say it not knowing the full spectrum of what's happening, Jailton. But I would say, if you're, as a neuroscientist, if you're taking medication, anybody, and you really don't need it, but it's just because I know some people take sleeping pills like they take Tylenol PM because they can't sleep. No, we need to make an effort to find the root cause of it and go deeper. What is the reason why I cannot sleep? What is the reason why? There are phases in our lives in which we're going to go through critical emotional loads. For example, a marriage of 60 years and then one of the partners discarnated. The other one is elderly and stays here. Is it valid for a psychiatrist to give and also for us to take a sleeping pill to deal with it gradually? Of course. Because it's a passing thing and we need temporary tools to learn how to deal with the new scenario. But if we're just taking pills because we're not digging in for the real cause, then there is a problem. Then, in our escape mechanism, we are opening doors for entities of lower order. Okay, Jailton? But we can talk in private because I cannot say it. Okay, Jailton? Thank you for this question. It's very important. Right, Lisa. Lisa Teles. Thank you for being with us, Lisa. Now, the beauty of this lesson, I'll say this out loud. Mentor Joseph said, remind everybody. There are many philosophies, many religions in the world, many sciences, but the Spiritist science is unique. It has an unfailing framework to prepare teams of true spiritual surgery that we call mediumistic teams, these obsession teams, to work with the behind the scenes of our lives. Some people tell me, Vanessa, I want to make a difference in the world. Go to the Spiritist Center near you, study, work as a team player, and devote yourself to joining the teams who are working to help entities who are stuck and are making other people be stuck. You're helping the people who are incarnated, and you're helping those who are discarnated so they can reincarnate better. You want to see it? Right, Tiago? Thank you for joining us, Tiago. Now, this is important. He says, in a few minutes, we entered a respectable institution. Nowadays, people are taking for granted the beauty of Spiritist groups and centers. And the smaller it is, the more precious. You think the super high spirits, look at Chico Xavier. The greatest illuminated spirits came to see him when he was in a tiny group. The greatest illuminated spirits of the earth came to Kardec in his small, super small meetings. Homogeneous. And I see people not valuing their groups and their centers, forgetting that the Spiritist Center is about a communion with the spiritual realm. A Spiritist Center without spirits is not a Spiritist Center. Too much talk, too much study, little work. And we say little work is not about giving food to the homeless. It's about giving food to those who are discarnated wandering. They are majority of the inhabitants of the planet. You want to help the planet? Educate yourself in mediumship. Educate. That doesn't mean we're just going to read. We're going to polish the heart. But we're going to say, that's what I'm going to do. And don't be afraid. With Spiritism, we have enough literature to keep you safe. There are scientific studies already proved that if you discipline yourself as a medium, if you participate in mediumistic practices of great works and instruction, you'll be mentally healthier than you are today. Many people are emotionally imbalanced because their mediumship is all over the place and they don't know what's going on. So we need to sit and do the humble and humbling works of being a medium, of being a group and learning to teamwork. And that's very humbling because we need to give room to the whole. It's not only us. So that's our task. Think about when you work in a Spiritist center, you are potentially connected to these 2/3 of inhabitants of the earth that can be helped by the group. And the smaller the group, the easier it is for illuminated spirits to be there. The smaller and the more homogeneous, the more well-intentioned, right? Adilson is saying, if it was my choice, we would keep our Spiritist centers small and open more centers, giving more opportunities to different locations in our neighborhood. Adilson, hopefully that's the way to go. Okay, that's the way to go. Encourage people. At the Spirit Side of Virginia, we have been told by Mentor Joseph, remind everyone that they are being trained not to stay in this center only, but to one day still connected but spreading out, forming other groups, because each and every city, each and every neighborhood needs their Spiritist temple. According to the spirits, it's gonna happen. I remember when I was in a mediumistic meeting at the Spirit Society of Baltimore years ago. I think it was in 2007. Mentor Joseph showed to us a room in the spiritual realm, like a video of a room, where they had the map of the world on a table, like electronically speaking. And I saw little illuminated dots all around. And then I asked Mentor Joseph, what is it? And he said, these are Spiritist centers that exist already on the earth, and some that are planned to exist on the earth. And we're preparing the teams. Jesus and his workers are preparing the teams. So we know that the Spirit Side of Baltimore was planned more than 150 years ahead of its foundation. The same for the Spirit Side of Virginia and many others. And we were prepared way before we came here. And we cannot fail, because we have already failed previous lives. And this life, we cannot afford it, not only for us, but for humanity. Because we are, as Emmanuel says, we belong to one another. We belong to one another. Feeling it? Yes? It's like that. Karen and I and Mark, we were recalling that song by the Bee Gees, Immortality. Yeah. Immortality. I make my journey through eternity. I keep the memories of you and me inside. And that's exactly the goal. Our journey through eternity. And there is a continuing. There is cooperation between lives. The sowing of one life will affect the next and will affect us to immortality. Right? So he's saying, when I was young, I was always dreaming that I was flying. When I woke up, I told my family that I know how to fly fast. They thought I was crazy. I always tried to jump to higher places. I gave a hard time to my guardian angel. Only with Spiritism in my life I could understand that. Thank you, soul. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And Karina is mentioning, no book could teach me what I've learned in more than 20 years of mediumship. You're right. The books point to the direction, but we need to experience. It's like going to medical school. Oh, but the day you take the knife, you're like, you know why? You know, Karina, the brain, it's a different processing. When we acquire knowledge, cognitive knowledge, we have a certain pathway in the brain being activated. When we're experiencing it, we have another pathway. They may be intersecting that one of the cognitive knowledge, but there's a lot of the emotional pathway connected to it that is not yet in place. And that's why we feel awkward. We read and read and read. When we get there, it feels like, it doesn't feel like it's quite right. But that's natural, okay? Yes, Jussara Korngold, Leia Severo, you're right. When she was in Baltimore, she gave a talk about the spiritual, the behind the scenes of the Spiritist Center. Yes. And there is a talk about the spiritual dimensions of the Spiritist Center, I think in English. And also, for those who understand Portuguese, Sueli Carol Schubert talks about it too. So, let's immerse ourselves into this beautiful picture and the preparation class, they say. In a few minutes, they enter the center. And then, who they found there? The other friends. They found dangerous entities. You see, these are not my words. I'm not catastrophizing here, you know, because psychology talks about one of the features of the mind is catastrophizing. And we can be quite neurotic when we catastrophize too much. But in Spiritism, there is no catastrophizing anything. There is what we call reality. There are dangerous entities who were there to be transformed. Guilhom Ribeiro was in the large room, and he found the other friend, Leopoldo Cirne, surrounded by dozens of less evolved entities, listening to him very attentively. It was a perfect lesson in which the old friend prepared future organization companions for the spiritual contribution of higher order. And then he said to Brother Jacob, even after death, fraternity is the way of salvation. For a criminal to return to the asset of peace, it is imperative to regenerate and rescue the ignorant brothers who also had the misfortune of slipping down the cliffs of crime. So that the intemperate may be readjusted, it is imperative to heal, applying himself in the aid of those who have not yet been able to free themselves from their bad habits. The spirits, revealing deep interest, listened with the same attention with which on earth they register report allusive to the easy money. It's inevitable that the inner reform is the work of self-improvement, so they can reincarnate better. So basically, Guilhom Ribeiro, was actually, he's saying that when we're here, we're being instructed on how to go through a life and discarnate more easily to continue our journey. On the other side, we may be instructed to reborn and be efficient. It's about efficiency. Be efficient. It's not quantity, it's quality. Many people, they are discouraged because they think they need to run the 5K marathon in one day. So they start training and they think, I have to run the 5K today. No, 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 no. You start with a quarter mile. And then you go to half a mile. And then you repeat. When you feel like you're good and comfortable, then you increase to 3/4 of a mile, then a mile. You keep it until you feel comfortable. Second nature. And then you increase, then you increase, then you increase. Science has been proving quite lately that if you do 1 day of workout a week, it brings great benefits to you, metabolically. 1 workout a week. How many of us are here and we're like, I'm gonna give up on the gym because I only go there once a week. So science is saying, don't quit. Keep going. No matter what you're doing, even if you're running in your house, you're doing great. It's better than nothing. Okay? Science is fascinating when it's helping us regain our empowerment. Right, right, Andrea? Right, Karina? Okay. So here we have the last part of our chapter today. They are there in a mediumistic meeting, and I'm going to describe to you while you watch the pictures, okay? Watch these pictures because it's just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you picture. It's just so beautiful. God bless Américo Sucena and the designers. Here we have a meeting, mediumistic meeting, incarnated, discarnated, illuminated, and those who are not so yet. So he says, I did not have time to reflect the wise answer by Leopoldo Cirne. Kyber Schulte came to get us for the service of the relief work. The relief work for the hardened discarnates. It began with a prayer by the director of the meeting. Of course, they could be instructed in our sphere of struggle, said Guilherme Ribeiro, but the benefits resulting from the collaboration would particularly affect the incarnate friends, not only by increasing their knowledge and experience, but also by suppressing their pitiable impulses for evil. And then he says that the unfortunates there before us were dark persecutors, was no doubt. They did not see the benefactors who had come here to improve their conditions, although they were constrained by the magnetic forces emanating from them. Yet they heard the edifying instructions and warnings received in Cirne's classes. I then noticed with grief the difference that existed between me and the blessed companions. Look, this is Brother Jacob and the other friends who are there, quite illuminated, and he's again concerned about his light. Yeah. And then some discarnates who remembered of Jacob were saying, is it not Jacob there? Where is his light? Yeah, he's being bullied by the spirits right there. Yeah. Feeling the opacity of my spiritual organization and ashamed of the incident, I composed myself in silence, fearing to intervene in the services of the night. After the task was over, I explained to Guilherme Ribeiro my case, and then he stroked my shoulders fraternally and said, without humiliating me, do not worry, my dear. Meditate, pray, and in due time receive the necessary clarifications. Be assured that your light will come. Such comforting words, however, failed to dispel the deep sorrow that my heart took. Okay? Just to give you a glimpse of the beauty of mediumistic meetings. It's hard. It's hard training. You know, one day Mentor Joseph was saying, this obsession meetings is like the training for it and the discipline that requires for you to participate in a meeting like this. It's like nowadays on the earth, training to the Navy SEALs. It's hard. But you have to be clear with the members of the group. To be part of the group for your own safety, you better follow through this discipline. XYZ. Study the books. Observe your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings. Be very selective of your daily choices, because you're going to be under the watch of the entities that are being rescued. Because they may be coming with you to your home to see if you're walking the talk, so they can learn as well. And the discarnate spirits are going to allow it to make sure that you and I work the muscles of our soul. So if you think you're prepared for this, you're never going to regret it. But you need to move forward. If you want to help the world, heal the world, heal the world. Make it a better place. You and for me and the anti-Roman place. There are discarnate spirits. They're not dying. They're just discarnated already.
Yes.
But they need your help. 2/3 of the inhabitants are discarnated. You want to help the world? Heal the world? Prepare yourself to be in a mediumistic meeting with discipline, with studious attitude, and with a lot of love in your heart. That's it. So that's why Spiritism is here, sharing the invitation. The time has come. It has long been the time in which we think mediumship is just for a few. Since Kardec, it became popular. It's what Martin Luther did at the church. He made the Bible popular. Spiritism brought the fact that we're spirits living on earth and in true constant communication with spirits, and in time to educate our mediumship to really shift the world to a better place. You excited? Yes? Come back in less than 24 hours, and we're gonna continue these 21 days to a spiritual awakening. For now, much love to you, and don't forget, keep seeking the good, because somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, la da 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 da. Go, my friends, and enjoy your next 24 hours, because God willing, we will be back for more, so we can be better co-creators with God. Thank you.